Hello. I'm gonna give a second for the video to load. I know sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. Whew. I feel all this energy running through me right now. I'm like so excited that I feel tingly. It's a little not overwhelming, but just it's a little interesting. Okay. I smoke my herbs. This is wormwood, white sage, and blue lotus, and a little bit of CBD flower. Super awesome. I'm pretty sure these herbs were a huge help in getting these messages to my body. Okay. Hello, my wonderful friends, my loves. I love you all. If you are watching the replay, and you have any questions, please just type them in the comments. I'm going to keep monitoring this. I'm going to be giving a lot of information, and I'm sure there's going to be questions about the whole experience and my personal experience, and I want to make sure that I can answer all of those for you. So if you are watching the replay, just pop the questions in the comments as they come to mind, and I will do a Q&A a little later to make sure that I am getting all the information to everyone that wants it. So, first of all, last weekend I went to a toad medicine ceremony. Just to give you a little bit of background, I have been transversing this space with psychedelics for, I guess, about 7 or 8 years now. And so the person who facilitated the ceremony is someone that I have done spiritual plant medicine ceremonies with before in the past. So a really trusted circle. We went to a really awesome location, someone's private property, where we were able to lay out in the grass on our tapestries and towels and blankets and just get really comfy. So that was really important. So some little information on Bufo Alvarius, also known as 5-MeO-DMT is the compound. Also known as toad medicine. So this is the DMT that comes from the glands of the, I forget, it's a Sonoran toad. There's another name for it, but I can't think of it. And these toads create this medicine in their glands, and one day someone decided to extract it and see what would happen. So it's does come from the toad. It's very, very strong medicine. I consider myself to be a psychonaut in the sense that I have have experienced a lot of different psychedelics and medicines of this type, of many types. And so I feel very confident when I say that for me, so far, this is the strongest medicine that I've experienced, and thank God for it. So the substance is extracted from the toad, and then it has to be broken down a little bit further so that they can extract the molecule out of it, the spirit molecule, DMT. DMT comes in a lot of different forms from a lot of different organic materials. DMT is within every one of us. Our pineal gland manufactures it, It's also in all living things. You can't extract it from all living things, but it does exist in all living things. And there's been a lot more research done on it lately. I know for a while they were just flat out saying they didn't know what it did and where it was from. But many of us now know that it is the spirit molecule. It is the substance that connects us to our consciousness, to our God, to spirit, to the universe, to each other. And it's a beautiful substance if used correctly. So it's turned into a smokable substance from the toad, and it's essentially vaporized, and then you inhale it, and it has a nice taste. It's a little funky. It's a little funky of a taste, but it's a really beautiful experience. So I'm just gonna tell you about walk you through the whole event. We arrived, we were all able to kind of mingle and meet one another. We sat in circle, actually we stood in circle, and we were each smudged, and then we were given some guidelines about what to expect and how to handle ourselves. And it's a really unique experience for everyone, so it is different for everyone, but there are definitely some respectful guidelines to follow while you're in ceremony with other people. I'm sure it's different when you're doing it in a private ceremony, which I'm really looking forward to doing that. So the medicine is administered one person at a time. And as soon as that person starts to kind of come out of their journey, then the next person is administered the medicine. So it's kind of like a little cyclic flow, which is pretty awesome. I really loved the structure of this ceremony. It was really nice to get to witness other people's experiences and have them there to witness mine. So for me personally, like I said, I consider myself a psychonaut. I have smoked DMT countless times. The first time I smoked DMT, it was a synthetic material, I believe. And not that made it, it was an incredible experience the first time that I smoked it. From the first time that I smoked it, I had this feeling that I wanted to share this with everybody, because it was just, it was incredible. It was the most profound and peaceful experience that I had up into that point. So I really wanted to share the medicine with everybody, and this was probably about 5 years ago at this point. And so I felt really called to share DMT. So I found a friend who manufactured sounds like such a weird word, who made it, who extracted it from a plant. And so we extracted some from a plant, and I had my own little stash of DMT and was able to share it with a lot of people. It was a really great experience for me. I learned during that time that a lot of people have different experiences and kind of what it means. And I also felt like I was able to tap into their energy in those moments when I was with them and guide them through their DMT experience. So prefacing this because I wanted to share that I am experienced in DMT, and I have been to that space many times. So when I was first administered the medicine, it was like my mind and my body and my heart and my soul, everything knew that they knew that space. I felt really comfortable in that space. It wasn't scary to me. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm back. And you're supposed to blast off is what they call it, meaning that you blast off into the cosmos. And I didn't. Not that I didn't blast off, but like I said, I was really comfortable in that space. So I was just able to sit there, to float there essentially. And I did get a lot of beautiful messages. So before I took my first hit, I felt something was up with my throat, like I had a toad in my throat, for lack of a better analogy. And I kept feeling like this blockage in my throat. Even when I took my first hit and I was breathing in, I felt like I just couldn't breathe in fully. And immediately I started feeling like, okay, you just need to breathe. And I now know, now that I'm able to reflect on that, that my throat chakra was being cleared. Like, whew, I have been, my throat chakra has been blocked, and I did know this subconsciously, I guess. I just never really did too much work about it. I have really muted myself because, and my experiences and my downloads and the things that I'm receiving, for a variety of reasons. A lot because I have been afraid. I've been coming from fear-based ideas, afraid that people will interpret the things that I'm saying as my ego. I have always, now that I'm looking back, I've always been a receiver of messages. I've always been really optimistic, and I've always had a really deep knowing of the purpose of life and what it is about from a young age. And I always knew how to handle situations in a way that surrounded them with love and compassion, even the most difficult situations. And there were times in my younger years where I would attempt to share this information and speak from that place of knowing, but I was I was sometimes met with the person or people that I was speaking to thinking, or coming at me with statements like, what, do you think you're better than me? You think you're higher than me? You think you know more than me? And so I've heard that so many times in my life that I think it caused me to stifle my words. It caused me to watch my words, to not speak my truth, because I didn't want my truth to be misinterpreted as feeling like I was better than anyone. I've never felt like that. I didn't want anybody to think that I was speaking down to them or anything like that. And it was all just, I know now, like their personal agreements being projected onto me. But when you're when you're not sure of what is happening, or when you're really early on in life, that had a huge effect on me. And so I stopped speaking so openly and so clearly, even though I still felt these things, because I didn't want it to come off that way. I also, receiving messages from the universe or from God is not something that, now it's kind of more mainstream, but it's not something that has always been accepted or known about, or, I didn't want to be, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to speak my truths and to tell people what I was receiving and what was happening. I didn't want to be seen as weird, or I didn't want people to naysay and tell me it's not true, it's not real, you're delusional, things like that. So I've honestly, I'm looking at my journals right now. I have journals on journals on journals of things that I chose to write down instead of share, out of fear, because I was fearful about how those things were going to be received. So when I took my first hit of Bufo, I felt all of that clearing. My throat chakra feels so clear now, and I feel that I can speak from a place of love and compassion, where I live, where I am meant to be, where I embody, and not have any fear about how these things are being interpreted. I know now it's loud and clear that the messages that I'm receiving are important, and they need to be shared because someone needs to hear them. So as I was coming out of my first hit of Bufo and awakening again, coming back to full consciousness, coming back to my body, I received this message that or just like a knowing that I was a tether, I was a rod. I kept receiving the message that I was a rod. And you're going to have to forgive me because a lot of the things that I'm going to say might not make sense, but that's just because it's really difficult to put words to this type of an experience. So I'm doing my best. It's even hard for me. You know, I understand it up here. I feel it. I feel the knowing, but it's really hard for me to put it out into words. So, as I was coming out of that and coming back into my body, I felt this message, this knowing that I was a rod, a connection between heaven and earth. I was a tether of our human experience with consciousness. And I received the reassurance that my previous ideas about my path with DMT were correct. I am a guide. I am meant to assist people as they walk that in-between space of our human realm and Christ consciousness. I've been hearing the word a lot, primordial goo. So like this primordial goo, this space of creation and life and death and everything. It's everything. And I'm very comfortable in that space. I've always been very comfortable in that space. And I am meant to help guide people through that space, those who choose to walk through that path, or even just take a peek, that I can help them stay grounded, that I can help them stay grounded while exploring and feel comfortable exploring. You know, it's not always a comfortable space, but I am really meant to help everyone who wants to be in that space, be in that space. And that's something that I felt that I did do, have done many times, whether it's with DMT or other psychedelics, mushrooms, acid, anything, even just people who are not on any substances, people who are having difficult times in their life. I've always been able to assist those people through the steps, you know, one foot in front of the other to make it out to the other side. And that message I had actually, you know, that message was loud and clear. Just like yes, you're right. This is what you're meant to do. So as I continued to awaken more and more, another person who was there had just embarked on her journey. She had just taken her hit, and I could feel every ounce of her energy. I could feel it swirling. I could feel the good and the bad bursting together, meeting. I could feel all of this energy releasing off of her, and I was able to tap into that energy and transmute it into love. Ground it back into Mother Earth and ease some of the discomfort. And it was a very intense experience. I could feel trauma and pain lifting out of her. And I could hear, this is what you're meant to do. This is what you have the power to do. And I was just like bawling my eyes out and smiling ear to ear because it just felt so good to be in that space of my truth, helping other people, because that has always been a common theme in my life. I've always known that I'm here to help people, and this is just like a deeper understanding of it. So afterwards, after I came back to, and I was processing all of this, realizing my throat chakra was bursted open and completely clear, and understanding that I am a tether, that I am a rod, that I am a space between heaven and earth. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. 2 weekends ago, I did a Kundalini breathwork session and got so deep in my meditation, way deeper than I've ever been able to get, aside from this DMT experience, ever been able to get, with or without the use of medicines. And while I was in that space, I have to slow down. My brain is trying to bring it all back. So while I was in that space during my Kundalini breathwork session, that was the first time I received the message that I was a rod, a tether, a connector, a conduit. And I received some really incredible messages during that Kundalini breathwork session 2 weeks ago. I received the message that our human existence is unique. It is the only space that exists in all of everything where the physical world and the astral world collide, where consciousness creation and observation meet. It is the only space where energy, our souls, which are energy, are able to understand themselves, look within on themselves, experience themselves, learn and grow themselves. And it's truly a sacred space. It is a divine space. And this is why energy continues to choose to come here, to be born here, to incarnate here. Because this is the only space where that collision occurs in all of everything. We are truly blessed beings. And this existence is truly for us. It's truly for our souls. So, I had that experience 2 weeks ago, and then my first hit of DMT really came back to that, circled around to that, and reminded me that this is a blessing, that we are all very, very fortunate to be having this experience right now. Whew, I can feel like the stars tugging at me. Thank you for allowing me to share this information with you. I'm sorry I have not been reading the comments. I will get to them at a later time, but I don't want to break this connection that I have right now. So after a few minutes, the medicine woman, the facilitator, looked at me and she said, "I'm going to give you a little bit more. You need to go a little deeper." And I trust her with my whole heart, my full whole heart. And so I was all for it. The next hit I took, I was able to take a much deeper breath. My physical body was clear. My chakras were clear. And I immediately blasted off. I was traveling so quickly through the cosmos. I could see them folding in on themselves around me, on itself, on everything. It was just, It was a really beautiful experience. It was, my human mind was a little trying to grasp onto what I was experiencing. But my higher self knew that this was the path that I was meant to be on, that everything was okay, that I was safe, and that what I was experiencing was divine. And so I let it go, and I kept going and going, and eventually at some point I realized that I needed some assistance coming back. And so I thought that I was yelling, but I don't know if anybody actually heard me. I thought that I had yelled, I really need help grounding because I'm so far out and I can't slow down. And my understanding, my observation, I was just so far out in the cosmos. I was out in everything, and it was never ending. It was creation. It was consciousness. It was home. It was home. I don't know what I was receiving. I don't know what happened other than that I was in this space. So as I started to reintegrate back into my body, I received, not even like I received, I remembered a lot of things. You know, the message that I had just learned or remembered about being a tether, a rod, opened up farther. I'm a channel. I'm a conduit. Both ways, for energy back up into the cosmos and for the cosmos back to this realm. I hold a portal that I can access that has ancient information and ancient knowledge, and I've been tapping into this space and receiving these messages for a very, very long time, but I didn't know what was happening. I thought that I was just having these thoughts from time to time, but they were so true to me. They were real. They were truth. They were facts. For years, this has been happening, and now I finally know that I can access this space of records. I'm not sure if it's Akashic records. I'm not sure if there are other records out there. But my purpose is to tap into these records and read them and to speak them, which is why my throat chakra had to be cleansed. My purpose is to speak these messages, to speak this information, this divine ancient knowledge, and to share this information with humanity, and to document it and to write it down and to make sure that it is becomes part of our history, becomes part of our reality. And as I started coming back into my body, all of these things flashed, like all of the messages that I had received were flashing in front of me, kind of just like a sign, like these are the messages that you're supposed to receive. Don't forget them. And then I received, I was hearing whatever was speaking. I don't know if it was my higher self or consciousness or God or everything. It said, you are a channel, a clear channel, and you are going to speak, and you are going to channel, and we're going to do it right now. And I felt my body just like a white light washed over my whole body. I felt my body like rise, and I started to speak. Of course, I'm in a ceremony with all these other people. And so graciously, one of the other facilitators just put her hand on my shoulder and said, you know, shh, remember there are other people just on their journeys. So that kind of like brought me out of it. It cut that channel, not cut it, but like it turned it off. And it was just like, oh yeah, okay, this is not the time or the place. But now I know that I have this access within me, and it's my life's path to open that back up and to obtain and speak that information, which is intense. You know, these are the things that I normally wouldn't share with other people because they can be seen as weird. But I know that I'm in a safe space. I know that I have enough support around me, that there's enough love in my life that I can really step into this power now. And it's a little scary. I don't know what to expect. I'm trying not to have any expectations and just go with the flow and accept that this is my purpose, to tap into that, to those records, to that knowledge, and to share it. And so, you know, this all kind of ties back into some previous experiences that I have had. One of the first, I've been calling them secrets of the universe for years because I didn't know what I was receiving, but I felt like they were secrets to the universe. One of the messages that I received several years ago was an understanding of how our existence was created. I don't have all the details hammered out yet, but I'm just going to share what I do hold right now. So years ago, I learned that as soon as there was a moment in time when consciousness, when everything, when spirit, when that consciousness started observing. It understood that it could observe itself, and so it has this very strong desire to observe itself. Oh God, so many messages are coming through right now. So the moment that creation began is a weird word, but just gonna go with it. Immediately it realized it wanted to realize itself. It wanted to observe itself. And so it created an observer. But it's like a chase, because the existence of consciousness was first, before the observer. And this is what creates the spiral, the Fibonacci spiral, the mathematical spiral, the golden rule. This is what creates it, is that observation is always right behind creation. And it may or may never catch itself. That's why the universe is infinitely growing and creating, because it can't catch up to itself, and it has a desire to. I'm receiving the message right now that this is what, that was the original sin. It's not a sin, but that was the original. That's what propels everything, even suffering. That's kind of what propels suffering, is that this desire to always need to catch up to itself. I need to channel it better and work it out. But so consciousness and observation is always trying to catch up to creation, and it's a continuous spiral. And there's some importance to slowing it down. I guess maybe because it can get a little closer to itself. But that's also the importance of being in the moment, living in the moment, and not living in the future or the past, because then you kind of mess up the spiral. If you propel existence forward too fast, or if you try to pull it back. Really, the moment, the now moment, is the place where observation and creation get the closest. And that's where we are the happiest. That's where everything is perfect and peaceful and right. And so, I've received this message so many times, and I've tried to work through it so many times. It's a very intense concept to try to work out, because like I said, my human mind can't hold it all. Can't hold it all in, but it's trying. And to tie back into what I was saying previously, so if creation and observation is always chasing creation, and creation is always having to create a new matter to observe itself, that's where our divinity comes in, because we are the union of creation and observation. Like, we're the space where it collides. We're the space where it mingles and it exists together. And when we sit in meditation, we bring those two so close together, and that is peace. That is the divine union. Oh my God, I'm getting so many messages right now. Okay, so I don't even know where I was at in my story. And that's why we are, why we're important to this realm. So I didn't go into this asking for my purpose, which is funny, because most of the time when I go into ceremony, I ask for my purpose. What is my purpose? What is my path? I didn't go into this asking for that. Actually, my intentions were, I'll tell you. Oh, I guess I did ask for that. So the things that I wrote down before I went into ceremony, my intentions: I bring all blockages to the surface and clear them. I understand my purpose. I know my purpose. I am in complete trust. I am in total flow with my existence and the existence of all that is. I am love. I receive all of the love that is meant for me with an open heart. I am clear on what I truly want out of this lifetime, and I speak my truth. The things that I wrote immediately coming out of my experience were: I am a channel, I am a connector to Earth, a rod, give it back to Mother Earth, because I really felt like I was able to kind of absorb the energy around me and ground it back into Mother Earth, and bring it back to the Creator. As I started waking up more and more, I laid there for it felt like a long time. I saw flashbacks of my path. I have done this many times before, in many lifetimes, in many realities. I have been a guide. I have been a channel. I have always been in service to others. And I feel very strongly that my path with medicines is just beginning. I know I will be a facilitator for other people in the future. I know that I will help other people walk this path. I saw myself like I said, the medicine woman is a very dear friend of mine. I saw her and myself. I saw us walking this path together, side by side, in many, many lifetimes, which was really beautiful because, I just had this deep knowing that her soul was waiting for me to get here to this point of knowing. I saw us as witches in the past. I saw us we had like telepathic powers, or just like, I saw us with the ability to create immediately, like to immediately turn our thoughts into things in some lifetime. I always knew that she was so dear to me from the first second we ever spoke. She came into my life at a time when I was probably one of my lowest moments of my life, and I was so lost, and she found me. It's just truly beautiful. It's truly beautiful what walking in your truth and even just asking for your truth can really do for you. So, I'm sure there's a lot more that I want to share, but I'm feeling exhausted. Channeling energy and receiving energy and being this open is very exhausting to the body and the mind. I need to eat something now. But I look forward to... I need to get a tissue. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm going to stop saying I'm sorry. I got to stop saying I'm sorry. I got to just accept what it is. So I don't know what's in store for me, but I am continuing to practice sitting in a space of openness, of accepting, of receiving, of tapping into everything that is available to me and around me and for me, and everything that is meant for me. I know I have a gift. I have a lot of gifts. My most cherished gift that I have always been aware of is that I am able to see everything through love and compassion, even the most terrible people or horrible situations, or I can see them all. I can see the love in them all, in everything. And it's been a challenging lifetime. At 34 years old, it has been a challenging lifetime of trying to navigate that space. I've been pretty alone most of my life. I have had close friends, of course, and partners, but I've never opened up. I have never opened up to a soul. I don't know what that is. I'm sure it's something that I gotta work through. I'm sure that understanding my path and my place now are gonna lead to that a little bit more. Because now I'm not feeling fearful. I don't feel like I need to make myself small. I don't need to fit into anyone's box. I know my space. I know my place. I know my power. I know that everything I do, say, am is love, is compassion. And do I have my shadow I have to work through? Abso-fucking-lutely, yes. But I work through it from a space of love, and I accept it from a space of love. And I have my truth now. So I definitely want to make sure that I get, you know, if you are interested in getting more information about a journey, your own journey, whether it's with Bufo, with toad medicine, or with ayahuasca, or with meditation, or any, if there's anything that you need or are feeling called to, please let me know. And I will find that for you. I have a lot of resources. I have a lot of great humans in my network. I have a lot of love for you, just as you are, you know, fully. There's nothing and no one that could put me off, truly. As long as they are walking their path. You know, it's when you try to hide from your path where the discomfort comes. If you have any questions about my experience, if there's anything that I said that wasn't completely clear, let me know. I would love to make that more clear. You know, I'm here to hold your hand, and apparently I'm here to share secrets of the universe with you, and I'm so excited. I do know that I need help. I need help getting to that space of channeling. I'm feeling like I need someone to facilitate it for me for a few times, so that I can get comfortable in that space and getting to that space and coming out of that space and knowing that space. And I know that there are people who are pretty experienced channelers, and hoping that the universe delivers the perfect resource to me. I know that it will. And then I will continue embarking down this journey. And, you know, a big part of this for me is speaking this and documenting it and sharing this information, because we are at a pivotal point right now where it's time for us to know our truth as a human, as humanity, as a soul in a human body. We've been very far removed, and it's time for us to come back home, truly. And so, you know, that ancient wisdom will start unlocking a lot of you. It will start awakening a lot of you. You know, there are a lot of people, a lot of channels sharing this wisdom, sharing this information, sharing experiences. So, you know, find them. Keep an eye out, because, you know, the perfect message comes at the perfect time. Everything is perfect in every moment. So, okay, let's pull a card. Let's just pull one card for ourselves. And if you missed any of this, I really, really, really would appreciate if you went back and, where did this lighter come from? Oh, and took a little listen, because, you know, the information that I have here that I'm sharing is important. It's important to all of us. And thank you for allowing me this space. Fucking Facebook. Not my place of choice. I'm probably going to, save this video and put it on YouTube as well, so that it, you know, I have a little bit of a concern about it being taken down off Facebook or yada yada, because, you know, the powers that be don't want us to have the union. They don't want us to have the information that we really need. They want to pollute us with the information that will keep us enslaved in their society, which is garbage. Okay, God. Let's pull a card for the full moon. Full moon is tomorrow. I think there's 5 left. Send us a message for the full moon. How can we best utilize the power of the celestial being Luna for our greatest and highest good? Death. Oh, God. Don't worry. It's not a bad card. Of all the mysteries, death is the most profound. This is what we know. Each time we come into a body, we are completely alive. No moment is wasted or unimportant. Sleeping or waking, alone or in companionship, in joy and even in suffering, we are fully committed to being present. So when the time comes to leave that body, the life lived in it is complete. Whether that time was brief or long doesn't matter. We leap forward into the infinite, leaving the dear old body behind. The next life awaits. The cat's advice: be aware of the finite nature of things. If it's time to let something go, let it go. Clinging to what no longer serves you keeps you at a still point in your evolutionary path. Release what is finished so that the new life can come to you. Be thankful for each lesson and gift along the way. Well, if that isn't fucking perfect for the full moon, if you don't know, the full moon is the best time to release and let go and cleanse and clear space. And, we're not just doing that to let go of things. We are removing things from our space in order to invite in the new. Our existence is a vacuum, and every time something goes out, something new needs to take that place. And we have the power to attract those brilliant things into our lives, to fill that space. Imagine if you just eventually pushed out all of the things that didn't serve you, that you've been holding on to for years and years and lifetimes, and you chose to replace that all with fucking beautiful things. Imagine how great you would feel. You can do that. You can have that. Look at this cute little cat. Okay, my friends, I love you. Again, thank you. I appreciate you. I honor you. I respect you. I'm so, so thankful to know you. And I look forward to doing this again.